Now for what we're all here for. And before we begin, I'd like to extend a sincere thank you for carving out the time of your day. We know that you're busy, and it really means a lot for us that you would spend some time with us here at TrueCar. And as Kristen has said at the beginning of this, in case you missed it, there's no need to take notes. There's no need to take screen grabs. At the conclusion of this presentation, we will send out the whole recording and the deck to you. Hopefully, if you find it useful, you can revisit some of the points in this, or maybe share it with your team or other people in your group who were unable to attend live. We're going to be respectful for your time. This whole presentation is going to be kept to about half an hour. And you will be spending that half an hour with me. My name is Matt Jones. I'm the Corporate Marketing Director here at TrueCar. I've been in automotive for 20 years. I spent my first 12 years selling cars here in Southern California at some of our biggest dealers. I love automotive, and I'm super happy to be here with you. So excited to be joined by our Director of Military Strategy and an Army veteran, Mr. Juan Barnett. And we are also joined by TrueCar's Senior Vice President of Military Strategy and a Marine Corps veteran, Mr. David Green. So before we really jump into the meat of this, I'd like to just take a moment for our guests to introduce themselves, and we're going to start off with Mr. Juan Barnett.
Hey, thanks, Matt. Really excited to be here. I'll go back quickly. It's been a few years in uniform. This picture is, I was probably not running nearly as much as I should have been because I'm a little bit smaller today and a little bit more fit than I was back then when I was defending the nation. But I spent 6 years in the Army. After that, I got out. I spent 10 years on Capitol Hill. I spent some of that time working for a member of Congress. Majority of my work was in congressional affairs. Big portion of that doing advocacy work for veterans, expanding benefits, mental health care, and some other different critical needs. I spent some time with the Secretary of the Army, standing up the Army Wounded Warrior Program. So needless to say, this community is near and dear to me. I've been with TrueCar now for 5 years. I spent 2 years running the ALG guidebook, setting all the residual values. I did some business development time with our OEM team, and I more recently joined our strategy team to kind of take on the TrueCar military strategy and just to carry the baton forward with our good leader, Mr. Green, who I think you're going to hear from now.
Great, thanks, Juan, and thanks for the introduction. So my military background is not quite as impressive as Juan's, but yeah, I enlisted in the Marine Corps when I was 17, served 4 years, and did deployment in Persian Gulf. Was in the infantry. My joke is that's where all the smart ones go, and if you're in the Marine Corps infantry, you know that's not necessarily the case. I started selling cars in Atlanta the day after my service expired, and I was in retail for 24 years. So my last stop, as I progressed through the ranks in multiple locations, worked for a large consolidator for over 13 years, and then had the honor of being a minority partner in a volume Honda dealership in Arizona. So transitioned out of there about 6 years ago, and I've been with TrueCar for, believe it or not, over 5.5 years. So it's an honor to work with folks like Matt and Kristen and Juan. I support the major accounts team with TrueCar as well as retail solutions, and then obviously a big passion is partnering with Juan and Janet on our military strategy, as well as many of our associates. So again, honored to be here with all of you today, all of our dealer partners. Thank you for everything you continue to do. Your partnership means a lot to us. Look forward to speaking here later in the presentation and going over a couple of store points. So Matt, back to you.
All right, thank you. Folks on the call, just wanted to give you a quick agenda. But before that, I want to thank you guys. I want to thank you for joining us today, David and Juan, and of course you, Kristen. Thank you for everything that you do for TrueCar, and most importantly, thank you for everything that you've done for our country. Folks, today we're going to start off today's conversation by discussing TrueCar's military experience. And then I'm going to hand the conversation over to Juan Barnett, who is going to walk you through the TrueCar military consumer experience. As David alluded to, he is going to walk us through the best practices to serve the military car shopper, and we're going to wrap the whole thing up with a quick question and answer segment at the end. Now, as you saw in the video, but for those who don't know, TrueCar powers more than 550 partner sites. And these partner programs and these partner sites, they cover different industries that everyday Americans interact with on a daily basis. Segments of our community like financing, insurance, publications, and we've partnered with companies like American Express and Sam, US News, Geico, and many, many more. And these partners team with us so that we can come together and satisfy the transportation needs of their members. But today, we're focusing strictly and solely on that military vertical that you see in the center of your screen in blue. And we're going to talk about that by the TrueCar. We're going to start by talking about our own grown channel, which is called TrueCar Military. And last May, we launched our own TrueCar Military channel, and it is our fastest growing site. Now, TrueCar Military enables dealers to engage with a large military audience, including more than 47 million active duty members, veterans, and their families. And as I said, it's been our fastest growing partner channel. It's been well received by the dealers, it's been well received by its members, but we did not stop there. We're continuing to build the most comprehensive platform dedicated to serving the military car buyer. And we're doing this by partnering with other military organizations to help serve the needs of their military members. This allows us to expand our reach. This allows us to touch much more military people. And we have powered the car buying programs for several prominent military organizations that you're probably familiar with, like Pentagon Federal Credit Union, military.com, and we continue to add more organizations into our mix, including GovX, First Command, Military Auto Source. And as you saw in the video, and we can't say it enough, we are very, very proud to announce that we have just formed a partnership with the world's largest credit union, Navy Federal. Now, the reason that we talk about all this is because these partnerships between TrueCar Military Channel and our military organizations have enabled us to connect more than 2 million military buyers with our certified dealer partners. And in that time, we've learned some things, and things that we've learned are what's powering this presentation. And it is our sincere hope that you will use some of these learnings to better serve your local military members when they come to you looking for help fulfilling their transportation needs. So before we get into that part, we also want to acknowledge some of the wonderful military organizations that partner with us that have nothing to do with selling cars. We're proud to serve the military community through our partnerships with teams like Team RWB, Team Red, White, and Blue. And their mission is to enrich the lives of veterans by connecting them in their community through physical and social activity. And this is incredibly important because every year, more than 250,000 active duty service members transition out of the military back into civilian life. Some of these folks face challenges, including isolation or perhaps lack of purpose or health issues. And Team RWB is establishing itself to help those folks. We're also proud of our connection with DAV, which stands for Disabled American Veterans, which is a nonprofit that boasts more than 1 million members, and they are dedicated to empowering veterans to lead high quality lives with dignity and respect. And they do that, this organization, every year. They provide more than 240,000 rides to veterans who are attending medical appointments. They help veterans claim medical benefits, and they're also a leader in connecting people who have transitioned out and disabled military to meaningful employment. They host job fairs and they're providing resources. And this is something that they've done for more than 100 years. And so we're very, very proud of our connections with both Team RWB and DAV. And for this next slide, I'm going to kick this one over to back to Mr. David Green to talk about our Driven to Drive program.
Great, thanks, Matt. And again, honored to be with everybody. Thanks for your time and joining us on the webinar. So Driven to Drive, it's a program we're really, really excited and proud of. It was born several years ago, when I said several, probably 5 years ago, a little more, by the young man you see on the left. If that face looks familiar, that's a shot of him and his father, Craig, on the left, and Mrs. Obama on the right. So Corey Remsburg is an Army Ranger, Sergeant First Class, retired. He was a guest of honor several years ago at the State of the Union address, and President Obama recognized him. So the Remsburgs are friends. So when we decided to really lean in on military several years ago, again, I reached out to the Remsburg family, and they came in and did a Connect magazine interview with us, and a little bit about Corey's background. He is now medically retired. Several years ago, he was on patrol in Afghanistan. Again, as a Ranger, he was struck by a 500-pound roadside bomb. He was propelled over 20 yards in the air, was left in a coma. He was medevaced out, spent over 90 days in that coma, and then since then has begun a series of really, really intense comprehensive rehab and surgeries, over 42 surgeries for Corey. And he's just a wonderful person. He is just an awesome teammate and just an example for so many of us to look to. So Corey will not let his injuries define him. He refuses to give up despite the severity of his injuries. And Corey's line is, if I if I give up and stop, doing my rehab and just give up, then it's like the enemy killed me. And his quote was, "I don't want to give them that sense of joy." So he's just a wonderful inspiration. The one thing Corey does want to do is drive a vehicle and have that independence. Right now, he's relying upon his parents and his siblings and other caregivers to take him where he needs to go, and he wants that independence like we all do. Unfortunately, due to Corey's injuries, he's unable to pass a test for the state to get his driver's license, but it doesn't stop him from helping other people get behind the wheel. So based on Corey's wonderful story and his passion and his spirit, Driven to Drive was born. He's our ambassador. He's our guiding light of this program. Helps us with the creation of the program, helps us with veteran selection. You can see on the right, we've selected 5 veterans in the last 5 years. We get over 1,600 applications a year. It's just a tough process to go through. Great job by our marketing department and spending that time. And we look at, they're all so deserving about, who can we align with to get this vehicle. And so we joined forces with one of our large retail partners. So all 5 of those folks you see on the right have received a brand new vehicle, often modified based on their unique situation with their injuries. We'll be doing another one this year in around Veterans Day in November. And then we look forward to expanding that program with a Gold Star family offering in May and around Memorial Day of 2022, as well as keeping up with our Veterans Day tradition. So Driven to Drive is an awesome program. Hopefully all of you are proud of this from TrueCar employees, and our dealer partners are always a big part of everything we do. So you'll see more of this as we continue to go out, but we love this program. We love Corey and his spirit. So thanks, Matt. Back to you.
Oh, thank you, David. I think what we wanted to make sure that everybody on the call understood that we are dedicated to our military, and we are dedicated to our military partnerships. And this is not an honor that we take lightly. This is something that is very near and dear to our hearts. And with that, I'm going to hand over the conversation to Mr. Juan Barnett, and he is going to walk us through the TrueCar military experience. Over to you, Juan.
Thanks, Matt. And, before I begin, I just want to say we're at a really interesting crossroads, having learned quite a bit in 2020 about the military shopper, and then David and I taking on a little more of a direct hand in how we go forward. And so while the experience I'm going to walk you through is the current experience today, later in the year, you can expect to see this start to evolve and change and really kind of grow this to be a much bigger and broader and experience that is much more custom for the military member as we learn more about their needs and where they are and how to reach them and how to service those needs. But we'll start here. So again, on the TrueCar homepage, there's a call out that stays there permanently to let everyone know about how to access TrueCar Military. It's there right on the front page. And when you click on that link, it will take you over to the current landing page where we have TrueCar Military. And you'll see prominent at the top is a call out for ID Me, and that's our partner that helps with our verification. They're an incredibly wonderful partner to work with in identifying government members, both military, and they do offer law enforcement, some other activities. But the key thing there is they've developed a sense of security with the military community. So the military feels really good using this service to verify their account and their families and stuff. And so this is a really, really tremendous opportunity to partner with ID Me to help these military members. And it also gives us some validation that we are talking to individuals. And you'll see later how we can use that to customize not only the consumer experience, but also the in-store experience that David's going to touch on. Go to the next slide. So also just below that, we have this opportunity to highlight some of the great work that our OEM team has done in getting these exclusive OEM offers for the military community. Like I said, we've really kind of leaned into the military community and not only growing our affinity partners to broaden the advantage that we have to give back to these members by finding them through our affinity partners like Navy Federal and GovX. But we take that audience and then we go and we have great conversations with the OEMs who want to reward and give these savings to those members, and we get to partner with them and highlight those incentives on the TrueCar military experience. And again, a lot of these are all predicated on going through the ID Me verification process, which is kind of an important element of the experience. But on top of those OEM incentives, we also have some of our own benefits where we put some no-cost benefits out there to our dealer partners as well. And one of those big ones is what we call the military appreciation package. And it's up to $4,000 worth of auto repair and auto deductible reimbursement. It's an incredible benefit because anyone who goes through this process is eligible for it. They simply, after their purchase, they come back, they'll receive an email from TrueCar acknowledging that they are qualified for this benefit. And it's important to let them know about this benefit early on because it's a no-cost benefit to the dealer. It's a real win-win for that service member or family member of the service member going through the experience to have this free benefit. And they'll just go through after their purchase, and they will, it's kind of like a rebate, it's a post-purchase benefit. The other thing that we really tried to focus on is the hotline, and we have a dedicated military hotline, and that's really important because to really give back in terms of service, we want to have that really warm reception. Anytime there's a problem, David and I are both involved. We do get really in the weeds when there's a problem with one of our military customers because we want to show that our commitment and dedication to that shopper or that buyer is true. And so we are working as well later in the year to hopefully bring on some military veterans to actually staff that hotline. And so we can have, Joe's talking to Joe's and Jane's talking to Jane's, as we like to say sometimes. But these are all some of the benefits of going through the TrueCar military experience. And there will be other benefits that may come up as we work through our affinity partners. In the past, we've partnered with Sam's Club to offer gift cards and those kinds of things that are more of a seasonal benefit. But these are the kind of core benefits that we offer the TrueCar military shopper as they go through the experience. So here you can see, again, as I mentioned, the ID.me verification is critical. So once the consumer clicks on that, they'll go to the next screen, and it will give them a couple of different opportunities to do their verification. They can confirm some memberships. They can check their military service records. So they just put in their information of, when their service started, when their service ended. And ID.me is connected directly to some of the defense databases that will actually pull that information and verify it in real time. If they have a .mil account, they can use that as well. And also they can upload their military documents, and they have about an hour to 2 hour turnaround on the review of those documents. So it's a pretty fast process to get that verification done, but it is critical to unlock all of those benefits. Next slide. And once that happens, they also were able to pull in some of that personalized information. As you can see here, as I gone through the process, when I go back to the screen, it welcomes me by using my rank. And David will touch greater on how we can use these certain really kind of nice features and this context of these shoppers to basically create an experience that does feel very personalized for them. And it honors their service by using things like their rank. And I'm not going to steal all David's thunder because he's got a really great presentation to talk about that. But for us internally at TrueCar, it's really important where this is where the experience starts becoming customized. And we look to continue to build on this as David and I work with the team at TrueCar to understand what some of the other needs are. And, military shoppers tend to shop certain specific segments or certain price points. And we want to start looking at building an experience that acknowledges that and makes it easier and serves those kinds of needs in a little bit better way. Next slide. So I'm going to stop there because David's going to pick up kind of what happens after that prospect comes into the store and how you kind of want to treat that customer, that shopper. But what I'm going to touch on is some of the statistics and some of the math behind where we were in 2020 and where we're looking to go in 2021. In 2020, we spent about $3 million around marketing and really standing up TrueCar Military. It was a phenomenal undertaking given the circumstances of 2020. We had a lot of folks, remote, and this was at the very onset of some of the lockdowns and some of the stuff we were going through as a nation. But we did it. We launched it in May, and it was a Herculean effort, I believe is the term we like to use. And it's been incredibly successful. TrueCar Military has, we've connected over, as you can see here, 215,000 military members to our dealer partners who were able to sell 18,000 units in 2020. And it just, we learned so much. Every month in 2020, we were doing different research surveys, and we've been able to collect a tremendous amount of intelligence, feedback. We've had some verbatim discussions with individuals that have had great experiences, that have had not so great experiences. And we're really looking for 2021 to be that year where we put a lot of these lessons learned to work, to go forward and build an experience that is unmatched in the entire concept of auto shopping when you're a military member. And David and I we've both got our sleeves rolled up. We're ready to rock and roll in terms of that. But if you go forward, so in 2021, we're looking to double that investment in terms of the marketing. We'll probably spend around $7 million, and a lot of that's finding those military members in our direct response targeted marketing. We also are looking to grow and add more affinity partners. Again, a lot of these numbers are specific to TrueCar Military, but as you know, Matt alluded to, our military vertical is broad. It's very deep. We are going and finding partners that have, you know, all kinds of relationships to the military, whether it be advocacy partners where we can make a financial contribution to them to enhance the lives of veterans, or whether it be an institution that supports veterans in some other way who could benefit from car buying services. We're looking at all different aspects to ensure that we can meet the car buying needs and selling needs of the military across the entire nation and overseas in some cases with some of our partnerships. And in 2021, we are looking to grow our sales by about 200%. 54,000 is our goal. We are already doing very, very, very well in meeting and perhaps exceeding that goal so far this year. And we're going to continue to make these strategic investments and partnerships throughout the year to ensure that we can be where the military buyer is to meet their needs in any way, shape, or form that we can. And I believe we are going to turn it over to hear from David to show us how to treat those military customers when they come into your stores.
Great, thanks, Juan. Appreciate that. Again, good to be back with everybody. And to Juan's point on there is we have an awesome opportunity to really surpass, you know, the amount of connections that we can send to all of our certified dealer partners to get past 60,000 units. So we're honored to do that. These in-market military members, some more to follow. And will be more volume and more opportunities for sales and taking great care of these folks coming to you very soon as we continue to scale. So please go ahead, Kristen. You know, and again, in the Marine Corps, we break everything down to 3. There's one of the reasons that because there'd be math involved. If you get a little more than that, that's not our specialty. So we always got to keep it really simple. I'm going to reflect back on some of the things that I did in my stores that we had success, and more importantly, some ideas that I saw from folks hopefully listening to this webinar, some of our certified partners and longtime colleagues that I've had in this industry for over 25 years of things that ideas and some best practices that you can do to take great care of the military members and also increase your sales volume. So it breaks down to communicate, be prepared, and have outstanding execution. And those are the things that the military folks are also looking at. And those are things that all of you do in your stores every day. So let's talk about communicate. So when these opportunities come in, next slide, please. Oh, thank you, Chris. So when these opportunities come in, as Juan mentioned, is if you have the ability to address them by their rank, please do so. A lot of these folks, especially retired military members. So if Matt was a retired colonel, calling him Mr. Jones or calling him Matt, he hasn't heard that in years. But if I refer to him as Colonel Jones and thank him for his service, that's what he's accustomed to. So if you really want to set yourself apart, that's it. Right now, we're able to pull with our ID.me partners about 80% of the records for military members. Obviously, affiliate family come through. There won't be ranks involved with those. So I really want to drive home is throughout the process of the appointment setting process while they're in the store and then post-delivery when you're doing your CSI follow-up, address them by the rank. They will really, really lean into that and really appreciate that. And again, we reference thanking them for the service, the way we have our site program. You saw in one of his slides where it welcomed back, Specialist Barnett and thanked him for his service. One thing to leave out or not leave out is thank the military family as well. So if that spouse is back home while the military member is deployed for, oftentimes, 9, 12 or more months, these folks serve too. There's a lot of things that need to be taken care of, managing the family, the household, and all the pressures and stress that go along with being, a military spouse and a family. So really, really encourage all of our partners, to recognize not only the military member, his or herself, but recognize the family members for their service as well. And then, if you can, use military time. Again, if Matt's a retired colonel, he hasn't said 9 o'clock in years. In this case, you see on the graphic, he hasn't said 2:21 in years, 14:21. If you want a quick, cliff notes on how to tell that, anything before 12, you just put a 0 in front of it. So if it's 9 a.m., it's 0900. Anything after 12, just add 12 to it. So in the visual there on the right, that's 2:21 p.m. add 12, so it becomes 14:21. When you put that in there, same thing with the zeros in the morning. You don't need an AM or PM. It's already implied based on the digits that you're using. So address them by the rank, thanking them and their family for the service. And again, just be different, engage them in military time. And I think they'll lean in with that. We've had great success with that in my past. And next, when you look at, the preparation, it's really key once, whether you're on a BDC, if you're on a straight sale, whatever your format, your process is, or your particular dealership, it doesn't matter. One thing that I really encourage you as you do your VIP or your appointments verification process is have that done by a senior manager. It's these people, like all people, want to know if they're having the opportunity to deal with the boss. And just by having someone in a management position follow up on that BDC agent or that salesperson and say, hey, you know what, Kristen, my name's David Green. I'm the general manager here. I just wanted to call you personally to confirm your appointment for 1400 on Thursday. When you come in, you're going to be meeting with me, and then go over the process, what that looks like. It just gleans in a little bit more that, hey, this is going to save me some time, and I'm going to be dealing with the boss. And I've already done what I call a warm TO, because they know who that manager is. They've already reached out. One thing to look at in the middle there, assign the prospect to a senior performer ahead of time. And again, I'm sure you all have your own processes for this. For my highest performing leads, they only went to my highest performing staff members. So my last store that I ran, I was a partner there. We had 45 salespeople. So less than half of those would qualify for the military opportunities that we received from TrueCar and the TrueCar military related sites. We re-rank those every month. And so if you didn't maybe qualify for April, but your sales performance put you in a higher level, and then going into May, then you can. And so we were putting our best people with our best prospects. And again, only the military members only saw the top people when they came into the store. And then the last thing is, and we've all run into this as retailers, have the vehicle ready for inspection. So we assign these things to a prospect ahead of time. So in my store, if the appointment was for 2 p.m. or 1400 in a military case, within 30 minutes prior to that, I would make sure the appointment's verified. We'd assign that to one of those top tier associates. I'd tell, in this case, hey, Juan, I need you to pull out this particular vehicle, stock number XYZ, make sure it's got gas in it, make sure it's cleaned up, ready for presentation. Oftentimes, not necessarily in the inventory times we're in now, but in normal inventory conditions, you might have a storage lot, or it's out back. A car might be 4 cars deep. The last thing you want to do is say, hey, Specialist Barnett, hold on, I need about 15 minutes to pull 3 cars out to get the one that you want to look at. It really just sets a bad expectation of the performance of your dealership. So, being prepared, having that appointment confirmed by a manager, having the vehicle ready to go, and then having Juan kind of on ready. So when this military person comes in, typically they are going to be on time. That Juan is ready, the car is ready, and then either me or a senior manager is going to be ready to greet them and introduce them to Juan. So, and then last is execution. So what we would do, and again, a lot of dealers do this, is have that car pulled up. Have a hang tag on there. It could have your dealership logo, it can have military logo on there, but your standard large hang tag, and we'd write with a black Sharpie on there. In this case, it would be Juan B or Specialist B. If Juan's coming in on that, ideally it's parked right in a way right next to, depending on your amount of space at your dealership and the configuration, right next to your guest parking, where Juan and his wife would get out of the car and say, wow, look, that's the car. They have it pulled up, and shoot, they got my name on it. How impressive is that? Then again, when you go in, have them ask for your senior manager. Maybe that's you, if you're a GM or GSM, or maybe it's a sales manager, an F&I director would do a great job at my store, may even be listening today, where they would come out and greet, because he was former Army, and just make that connection, introduce them to the associate or the product specialist that you're going to have care for them during their process. And I stated again, when you look to the right there, you make sure that you respect the time by being prompt. So it really sets that expectation when they come in. If they see that, I mean, these guys really got their stuff together. In the military, they call that squared away. The car's ready, the individual's ready, the manager's ready. I see my name in a digital appointment board with 2 o'clock next to it. It also just leans that commitment, and it's like, wow, these guys are going to sell me a car today, and this is where I want to buy. So execution, obviously, in everything we do is exceptionally important, including in the military. So a couple things too, as you're setting them up for success, again, whether you're use a straight sale with your salesperson, setting up that appointment, or use a BDC, or even if you outsource, you can always incorporate this into your scripts that those folks are using, is if you really want to get them to lean in. So I would tell Juan, after I confirm the time, confirm the date, confirm the individual senior manager he's going to be asking for, and say, hey, Juan, to save you time and to make sure that you receive all the benefits that you're qualified for, please go ahead and plan on bringing your military rated documentation, which could be your leave and earning statement. We just call it an LES in the military. Usually we carry our IDs with us. I still do. Mine's been expired for several years. It's still in my wallet. And then a DD 214 form, that is the one sheet that every veteran gets when they separate. That's basically one piece of paper with the entire background, all their accomplishments and their rank and their deployments and everything listed on one site. That's the form that usually the OEM partners, the factories want to validate as far as their service for any kind of qualified military incentives. And then a couple things too, make sure they get the benefits that they have. Juan did a great job in talking about the military appreciation package. So we created this package, so obviously for the military members to give them a little something extra from our standard appreciation package at TrueCar. It actually has double the benefits. And then also we want to provide our dealer partners where you can be the hero to provide the member with these benefits and remind them and tell them about it. Neat thing is, and you'll see them on the left there, we fund that 100%. It doesn't cost you any money, doesn't cost your store any money, doesn't cost the factory any money. TrueCar picks up the dime for this because we want to make sure the military gets something extra for going through our site. And then our valued dealer partners have the ability to explain those benefits and pass those along to them so they can enjoy those benefits. And then you'll see on the right there, everybody's different. At my store, we had 10% off of parts, service, and accessories for the life of the vehicle. So I know a lot of stores do that. Some do even more. And that we're also looking at enhancing, Juan and I and Janet are creating even more benefits as we go forward for the military appreciation package. So if you offer something that's unique to your specific dealership to bring them back for service, parts, accessories, please make sure you folks don't forget to tell them about that. So all of those benefits combined, especially if maybe you're a couple of bucks away on a trade or there's something there from keeping a car deal from being put together, remind them and let them know of these benefits. Hopefully that the member will see the value in that and enable you to move them to a sale. So a couple of things, and pardon the really younger, strange looking gentleman there in the visual, that's a way younger version of me. Years ago, as we toyed around with different ways of communicating with the military audience. So we had 2 videos that we would send out through our BDC. This was just one of them that was geared specifically for military members and their family. And then I had a different message without the very large desk plate that spoke more towards the TrueCar and other affiliate non-military related messages. So we also did individual custom videos. Again, a lot of you do these, whether it's a consolidated BDC off-site, you have a BDC in your dealership, or just a regular sales process, doing with your cell phone, doing a quick self video, walking around that car. Maybe Specialist Barnett says, I really want to see how the tires are on that car. I really want to see what it is. Can you get inside it? Does it smell like smoke on the inside of the used cars or anything? And doing a custom video there, again, by using his rank and sending that on time and giving them just a little bit of a wow factor as they go through. So there's all kinds of ways to communicate, set yourself apart, and let these military families and members know that you value them and really want to earn their business at your particular dealership. And a couple other ways of engaging there. You'll see we did this at my store. You'll see on the left every November in around Veterans Day, and then also Memorial Day. We had the staff. There's just some of them there, and some camouflage shirts that I provided. You can see also let them wear shorts on the weekend, a little added bonus for Phoenix in the summer. And then you'll see on the picture on the left there's that Team RWB tent. So you can leverage and network with an organization like RWB. I'm a member. I've been a member for going on 10 years. It's a wonderful organization. As Matt went over very well, they specialize in enriching veterans' lives through physical and social activities. The neat thing about that is everybody on this call is eligible to be a member of Team RWB. You do not have to be in the military. Civilians are welcome. Right now, it's about 50-50, civilians and veterans. So it's a wonderful organization that really just provides a positive atmosphere for veterans and their family and other civilians that want to just be a part of that, whether it's social, again, or physical activities. And it's a great way to network. We would host events. They put up their tent in front of my dealership on a weekend, and you get those folks coming in. And you'll see, on the right there, I have one of our in-stock cars at the time. with the RWB logo and a nice military wrap along with our dealership logo. So in the last note on RWB, it's created by a gentleman named Mike Irwin. He's an Army officer, several deployments overseas, wonderful young man. He's actually now Lieutenant Colonel. He's an instructor at West Point. So I encourage you, just for your dealership or just for yourself, you can check out teamrwb.org. Again, one of our partners that we're, along with DAV, we're really, really proud to be affiliated with. And then here's just an example. One of the things, again, I wanted to lean in and support the military family, but I also wanted to network through that and be able to expand my reach in speaking to people, again, civilians and military, and selling cars. So we had a 5K that we created. All the funds went to RWB as far as the entrance fees for those runs, and you can just see that's just the RWB group that showed up to one of our runs, and times that by about 7 or 8 from other folks that just found out about it. So it's a great way for me as a retailer to connect with them, as I did the starting gun and ran with all these folks with my flag, and then got to connect with them, obviously, about retailing automobiles and being their go-to source for all things military automotive related. So there's just a lot of ways that you can increase the volume and opportunities of your dealership while also giving back to the military community at the same time. So wonderful opportunities.
Thank you, David. And what's really great about some of those opportunities that you said is that they don't cost tons of money. It's something that anybody can do. And having people, relatively, whether you served or not, if you feel the need and you have the desire and you want to serve, you in a small way, you can. And we wanted you to, for the people on the call, we really wanted David to highlight those things that he did at his store, because we understand there's different budgets. Some people can give away cars. Some people have to do something small, but you can do something. And as we get ready to wrap, I see we're a little bit over time. We just wanted to give you a couple key takeaways. Now, this should go without saying, provide your buyer with your military buyer with an exceptional experience. But this means being mindful of the entire process. Understand what they've done prior to meeting you. Understand that the time that they've put into this process, and you can give them that exceptional experience by becoming a military product specialist within your store. Be aware of all of the offerings from your OEMs and from your partners like TrueCar to ensure that your members are getting every single drop of value that they can in this process. One of the things we don't have on this list is we want to make sure that you spend extra special time thanking the military members' families. David touched on this. When people are deployed, it's not just the person who's in the military who's serving. My brother-in-law, he's in the military. When he was deployed and he was in Italy for 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, that's an incredible strain on the family that's still here managing with the children and everything. So this is a team effort. Make sure that you're thanking everybody involved. Set the military member up for success. People who have bought cars and sold cars, they're familiar with this process, but your first time buyer may not need or may know necessarily what they're going to need right off the top in order to take advantage of all of these special benefits provided by either TrueCar, your partners, or the dealerships. So set them up for success. Make sure that they know what they need ahead of time. And also, we can't stress this enough, and I think if I can get Juan to jump off mute for a second, we really want to ensure that the military buyer is getting all the benefits they qualify for, because in conversation, I think Juan said something that really resonated, that not as many people as we had hoped are taking advantage of this. So Juan, if you would take a second to speak on that, it would be really useful.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Yeah, it's, the buyer's bonus is a great benefit. It applies to new and used. I think there was some early on some of the survey research, people were saying, why do I need these auto reimbursement benefits if I have a brand new car? And it's like, well, it also covers auto repair and a crash. And so there's a couple of different opportunities there. But again, it's I think sitting down that member at purchase and explaining what those benefits are. And David and I are going to look to explain those benefits a little bit better through the consumer process, but it's a total no cost option to the dealer to offer that to the member to reward them for their service and sacrifice. And it's a great benefit. And we just need to kind of educate them at closing that it's out there and it's available. And we're going to work to better that on our end. And we hope that you will pass along that benefit message as well.
Yeah, thank you, Juan. And as we get ready to wrap up, I wanted to take another moment to give a sincere thank you for everybody who spent their afternoon with us. We hope that you got some great nuggets from the information that Juan was able to share and that David was able to share. But as we wrap up, I'm going to kick this over to our manager, Kristen.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for all the awesome information you shared with everyone. Before we move into the Q&A, we just wanted to share some ways that you can engage with us here at TrueCar. If you're interested in any product information, you can visit our site, truecar.com/dealer. And you can learn more about our products and our programs. And then also, if you've liked this webinar and you want more information just like this, we invite you to visit our dealer blog. And here you can find a collection of infographics and articles and videos. And we're sharing industry trends, consumer shopping behavior, insights, and best practices. And that can be visited at truecar.com/dealer blog. We also have a very special section there dedicated to military content. So feel free to visit. And then finally, we also host a Facebook Live show, Industry Insider, on the TrueCar Certified Dealer Facebook page. And here's where we share tips and tactics from some of the industry's brightest minds. And our next show is May 20th with our newest partner, Navy Federal Credit Union. So we hope to see you there.